So, you are welcome to part two of episode one. In this part two, I will be showing you another pattern of how men actually come into the knowledge of what they must become. How men came into the knowledge of what they must become. So, I want you to follow through as I show you about two different patterns of how men come into the knowledge of what they must become so that they can begin to do. So let us check this scripture together. Um, when they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their net began to break. This was at a time when Jesus had finished using their boat. So they caught a large number of fishes and their net began to break. So if you go further down, it said that when Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knee and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." Now, for he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Do you see this now? So if you go further down, we said, then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people." So they pulled their boat up on shore, left everything, and followed him. That's wonderful. Did you see this now? Now, they caught a large number of fishes after Jesus finished using their boat. And now, the fish that they've been looking for, now that they have a large number of fishes, now they now left it and followed Jesus. Can you imagine that? See, they've been looking for something. They wanted fishes, and now they had fish, and they left everything and they followed. Why did they do that? It is because they came to an understanding of who they are supposed to be, what they are supposed to become. And now I want you to follow closely now. They were fishers, they were fishermen, invariably they were doing or following after their father, their earthly father. You see that now. And for somebody listening to this now, this just might be your story. Or I'm sure their father, Zebedee, the father of James and John and all of that, must have patterned them after their own occupation, after what they saw them doing as a parent. I'm sure their father must have told them that this is what they should become, this is what they must become. And they are becoming it, they were doing it, not until they met Jesus. In quotes here, they met God, who now told them what they must become. And now, what he's telling them to become is different from what their parents must have told them to become. And now they left. Oh my God, they left. They left what they were doing after their parents. They were following after their parents' career, occupation, business, and now they left. It is not that their parents' occupation or business was not good. No, that's not the point here. But the point here is that they must become something else. They must become something else. So they came into the knowledge of this, what they must become, and they left and followed so that they can become. Do you see this now? So you are permitted to do whatsoever your hands find to do, but not until you know what you have been ordained or created to become. So there is no apology to whatsoever you were doing before you came to the knowledge of who you are supposed to be. So it is not wrong for you to be doing something at the moment now if you have not come into the knowledge of what you are supposed to become. It is not wrong. You must be doing something. So these are people that were fishermen. Until they came to the knowledge of who they are supposed to be, they left and they went to become. Now, this accounts for the reasons why these men of old left everything upon the realization of what they have been ordained to be from the creation. of what their formation is, their composition is made of. So the call of the creation is always higher than any other call. For some of us here now, our country has subjected us to what we are becoming. For some, your situation have subjected you to what you are becoming. For some, your friends have subjected you to what you are becoming. For some, your parents have subjected you to what you are becoming. But it is not wrong, but until you realize, you come to the know of what your formation has been from the beginning, of what the creation has ordained you to be, then you are permitted to drop whatever it is you are becoming now, you are doing now, when you come to that realization. So I'm going to take us through another pattern now. Let's check this together. Um, Here is still the youngest. Jesse answered, he is tending the sheep. Samuel said, send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives. So if you go further down, you see, then the Lord said, rise and anoint him. This is the one. Now, this is another pattern here I'm showing you. Here is David that was doing whatever his hands findeth to do, which was he was tending the sheep. This is whatever his hand findeth to do. He was doing it and God was blessing him. You see that now? But he will only do that until a realization of who he is to become comes. So, and now here is where when he came to that realization, and not only him, but all the members of his family came to the realization of what he must become. So, ordinarily, if David has told his father that I don't want to tend to sheep, tending to sheep is not my destiny. Tending to sheep is not the purpose of my creation. Maybe the father must have rejected. His brothers must have disciplined him, must have gone against him. But until a man come to the realization of what he must become, he is permitted to do whatsoever his hand findeth to do. There's no problem with that. It's not wrong. You see that? But a man must come to a point in his life when he will begin to ask God, what is my formation from the creation? What is my ordination from the creation? That I might become what I have been ordained to become. So he was tending to sheep, but now a knowledge has come, making them realize that he is to become somebody that will no longer lead sheep, or that was not formed or created to lead sheep, but created to lead people. You see that now? So he must become what he was created to be, which is to lead people, not leading sheep. Do you see this now? So that's another perspective you must consider. So finally, you will need to find that knowledge. You will need to come to that knowledge in order for you to become, so that you can be able to do. So until you become, it is not possible for you to begin to do. And before I close this, when you finally come to that knowledge, there is something you need to do when you come to that knowledge. There is something that you must do when you come to that knowledge. And that will be in the episode 2. So watch out for episode 2. When you come to the knowledge of what you need to become, there is something you must do for that knowledge to actually work for you. I'll see you in the next one.